taking the cold right now. We got a rag over the throttle body. Just trying to get some of that grime that's been stuck on there for who knows how many years off. Show you all the progress over here real quick. Where we got the engine right now. Got some of the brackets back on, some of the pulleys back. Only thing missing is the water pump and the power steering pump as well, and pulley. Previous video kind of failed to mention a few things that maybe some of you guys might want to know if you guys ever decide to do this for yourself. So one thing that I want to mention first, last video I mentioned something about the crank pulley not going all the way back, but as you can see there is a gap there. Whoops, there's a gap there, and that's how it's supposed to be. And the other thing is this, when we were priming the engine, so when we were priming it, oil started coming out of here first, and it started coming out really fast. So I'm thinking that, or you should plug it up, because if you don't plug it up, you'll probably lose all your oil before you even get any oil to the rocker arm. So make sure if you have a similar design like this or the same engine, make sure you plug that up with the oil pressure sensor. That way no oil comes out from there. Oh, and then the thread pitch for the crank bolt and the pulley is 7/16 by 20. We didn't mention that in the previous video. So the tap we used was 7/16 by 20. The bolt's obviously 7/16 by 20. And so that's just some technical information in case you guys were interested in that. All right, guys, next day here. Sorry for the dog barking in the background, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting some gasket, some high temp gasket sealant, all right here, and then some right here, just to kind of seal this gap where the gasket kind of goes in between the head and the block here, and then kind of to hold it up, so that way the holes in the gasket will line up properly when we go to put the intake on here. So we're going to do that real quick, and then the intake should be ready to go on. Yeah, you want to be pretty liberal with it, because there's going to be a gap in between the intake manifold and the block right here where I'm putting the sealant. So you want to make sure you put a nice good sized bead, or you ensure a proper seal between the intake manifold and the block. Progress update here. Got pretty much all the pulleys back on. Got the intake manifold back on. You guys probably saw me struggling with that with the time lapse. What else we got? The distributor.
Distributor's in there.
Distributor cap. I managed to break the oil pressure sensor, so we need to get one of those.
Just like everything you break, touch.
Yep. Dog. You know me, if I don't break something,
you ain't doing it right.
I ain't doing it right. I ain't doing it right, you know what I'm saying? So we got this power steering pump pulley on. We use the tool to put it on, not a big deal. Pretty simple and straightforward. He's figuring out, what is this, the coolant temp sensor and the knock sensor. We're gonna figure out, we're gonna refer back to our pictures and get these on. Guy over here, check him out.
Remember that.
What's going on, man?
What's going on is I finally got this shit ready to put.
Wow. This dude, man, throwing shade. Throwing shade. Anyways, we got I think we got the firewall all set up, ready as it once was, and we installed some of the sensors over there. He did. Okay, whatever. He did. We got the windshield wiper motor back. Harness is attached to the firewall where it was. So this is where we're at. We got the engine over here, ready to hoist it up, put the flywheel on, and get it ready to be put onto the transmission, right?
Yep, that's it, man.
She's live, buddy. So what a sight we got here. It's been a minute since the engine has actually been off of the stand. We got the engine on the hoist. We're having some problems with the hoist here. We don't have no hydraulic fluid, so we're resorting to other measures, but we got it up. So that's it or what? Rear main seal in?
Main seal's in.
Hell yeah. Here's where we're at. Bringing the engine up. We got the flywheel bolted up.
Flywheel goes 75 torque, dog.
75 foot-pounds, right?
Yeah.
75 foot.
Don't be dumb like this guy. Not
What? Okay, okay. This guy. Yeah, so we got the flywheel bolted up. So make sure when you're going to put the bolts on, you have somebody else or some way that holds the crank bolt in place. That way you can get these suckers bolted up to 75 foot-pounds with ease. They said the pads here go facing towards the transmission, so there's like a weight in there. I don't know if you can see it.
Hey, what's stopping the tire, guy?
I don't know. Damn, this guy's getting all crunk over here.
That tape out the way.
God damn, dude. Over here trying to freaking record. You're always make a little update, and then you get him. This guy over here. Anyways, that's the flywheel there. We got the torque converter in. This guy. And when you put the torque converter in, what we learned is you have to actually twist it and push against the torque converter as you're twisting it. That way it'll fall into the shaft. It should fall like 3 separate times. And it fell pretty quick for us, so we couldn't really count it or gauge it, but we think it's sitting there pretty good. So we're gonna get it ready to butt up against. We just got to find the bolts, and we should have the transmission mounted to the engine pretty soon.
So I forgot how my garage looked, guys.
Here it is.
It's about time, man.
We got the engine on deck here, connected to the transmission. It's a big day. We're gonna get the truck ready to bring it in and load it up. How you feeling?
I feel good, man. It's after a damn year this guy avoiding me. Happy moment, man.
Happy moment. Here we go.
Oh, damn, burgers are burning, dog.
They're burning. Burgers are burning. But here's the engine. We got the torque converter connected to the flywheel here. Everything should be looking good. Got those suckers torqued down to 35 foot-pounds. Couldn't find the information in the manual. But yeah, again, we're not sure what's wrong with this transmission, if there is anything wrong, but we're gonna risk it anyways and see how it turns out. We're gonna load the truck up in here and work in the complete opposite direction that we're used to working in. Got homeboy on deck over there making some burgers.
Yeah.
Throw him a little shout out.
Shout
All right, we got the truck back in the garage here. Check it out. Nice and up close to the engine. We're gonna have to figure out how to jack it up a little bit. I think maybe not. We'll see.
Perfect.